Hi VC, it's Aaron, Muth Alamere, and today I am entering a contest for JB's Vinyl and Cassettes. And it's a newer channel. It's his 100 subs contest. Very cool. Congratulations on hitting the 100 subs. Did it pretty quickly, and that's very cool. And he's got a great channel. He likes very eclectic musical taste, likes a lot of classic rock, some harder rock, a bunch of other stuff. It still freaks me out every time he punches the camera. Pretty cool effect he got there. And so we're supposed to show our best and worst investments in music, basically. And I don't have a whole lot of really bad investments, but I have a couple really good ones, and I'll just show the one that I think was the best, and then a couple of the worst investments. I'll do the bad ones first, actually. So, I'll do the good ones first. So what happened was about 5 years ago or so, I was in a grocery store talking to a guy about vinyl records, and the manager overheard me. And he was saying, records, are you talking about like music? And I go, yeah, I collect records. And he goes, well, I've got a bunch of records that I'd sell you for $500. They're in my garage. They've been sitting there since the late 80s. And so instantly I'm like, wow. Yeah, late 80s, exactly what I like. He showed me a picture, and right off the bat I could see like Queensryche, Man-O-War. I was like, okay, I'll buy them. How much you want? He said, okay, I want $500. I went to the ATM, got the money, and went to his house. He goes, don't you want to come and look at them first? He goes, no, trust me, I will want them. I know. I mean, I'll take a look at them when I get there, but I'm pretty much sure I will want them. So I went, after he got off work, went over to his house, and they were all in a big case, kind of like the record stores have, where they have different levels, and they were all just lined up. So they were all lined up facing. I brought like 8 small boxes from U-Haul, and those fit records perfectly, and I filled up every one of those up and still had extra. He said it was, close to 500 records. I got there after I was done. It ended up being like 560 records, and then he threw in about 120 45s in there. And a lot of them I already had, of course, but he took really good care of them. Probably 80% of them were near mint. They were just immaculate. It's like he said he was very particular with his records. He'd always blow them off, and every time he played them, he was very careful to hold the edges. And I saw that when I was opening them. I was just amazed. And it was all like classic rock, heavy metal, all from the 80s. And there was some oddball stuff in there. There was a little bit of country, a bunch of K-Tel records, a bunch of other stuff. But it ended up being about 75 cents a record is what I paid for the whole thing. And I'll just show you a small group of what I got. I mean, I have after that I went through them all. First I got them home, and when I got them home, I was unloading them. I was starting to bring them in the house to clean them up. My wife says, "Get them out of here." They were filthy. I mean, they'd been sitting in the garage for since probably 25, 30 years. So I had to clean every one of the covers off. Spray them with like a slightly damp paper towel, and I just went through 2 rolls of paper towels cleaning these things off. And I got home about 5 o'clock with them, and I was all just shaking because I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I got these. And I started doing it. I ended up getting done cleaning the outer part of the records. It took me till about 1 in the morning, and the whole time I was out there going, oh my god, oh my. My wife was like, what's going on, are you all right? I was like, no, I just can't believe this is in here, and I can't believe this is in here. And there was probably about 50 to 60 sealed records. One of them was the Iron Maiden that Randall Nelson won in my first in my contest. He won a sealed Iron Maiden Number of the Beast. That was from that collection. And so it was just stuff like this. It was like, this was sealed. It's just, like Dancing Undercover sealed. I since opened it to listen to it. I've only, it's like brand new, of course. And, this is still sealed. White Line, Big Game. And then along with that was about a dozen of these. I'll just show a couple. About a dozen of these singles, Iron Maiden singles. I got the Iron Maiden Peace of Mind picture disc that's hanging up on my wall if I ever do a room tour, which I'm planning on doing because JC from Miami wanted me to do it, so I'll be doing that soon. But it's hanging up on my wall, the Peace of Mind picture disc. Like, just a bunch of these. There was about a dozen of these, like I said, of these, and they were all in great shape. A couple of them were still sealed. I sent one of them to Scott Waters, a still sealed one. Stuff I hadn't seen before, like I'd never really seen this. Scorpions Gold Ballads, which is pretty cool. I mean, there's the songs on it. And, you take them out and they're just like, they're just in great shape. I mean, you know, and then there's stuff like this, Gravedigger. I mean, you don't see this stuff less than $1 a piece. It's just amazing. And, you know, whole bunch of, he was a big Maiden fan, so I already had a bunch of Maidens, but I upgraded a lot of them. One of the Somewhere in Time I got from him was still sealed, but just partially opened, but the record had never been out of it. I sent that one to Chris Prophy. That was one I got. You know, stuff, you know, the Ace is High. This one's still sealed, never been played. Then there's a bunch more. And then, you know, it's like Queensryche was in there. The Warning, you know, just amazing stuff. And I went through them all. And then I took all my doubles out. I picked the best one, kept the best one, and ended up selling. I had a couple friends that bought a few records from me right away. And then a few months later, it was summertime, and I went and had a sale, like on the street corner. I had 2 great big tables, and I had like 8 boxes of records that were all doubles, stuff I don't listen to. Ended up making about $1,600 and went on a vacation with my wife, and that was 2 summers ago. And a lot of that was records from this that I already had that were doubles, and then just other stuff I had that were doubles. And, you know, here's a couple more I got from that collection. This is still sealed. Kings of Metal. I mean, it's just, you know, it's totally flat, too. I mean, it was just amazing, the collection. Tons of, you know, bunch of stuff I'm not showing. I'm just showing a couple here. But there was, you know, 60 to 80% of them were hard rock and metal. It was just amazing. And all this, you know, this still sealed was one of them. I've opened it because it was starting to bow out a little here, so I opened it. This has only been played one time. Sounds great. But this was sealed. It was just stuff like that. There was stuff like a Madonna Immaculate Collection, which I have that's still sealed, which I never would have bought on its own, but I got it. And I look it up on Discogs, or you go on eBay and look at those sealed ones that are going for hundreds of dollars. It's kind of crazy. So that was my best investment. I also had another really good one where I got a whole bunch of metal albums just here last summer, right when I started the VC almost, and I made 3 videos, split up what I got in there in 3 videos. I called it Epic Metal Finds or something like that. And that was amazing. But those cost me about $6 a record, which is still pretty great because there was some great stuff in there. And so that was my best investment. And I don't know if I'll ever find something like that again. It was kind of before, you know, it was when vinyl was coming back, but not like it is now. So it's really hard to find stuff like that now. So my worst investments, I have a couple here I'll show. And this one here wasn't really a bad investment. It just wasn't what I thought. So what it was is I very rarely shop online. But I got some money from, I think it was the last thing for the government where they give you the money, and my wife said, okay, you can use $200 or $150 and buy some stuff online, which I rarely do. I haven't really bought anything online since then, except for some Scott Waters records, some Ultimatum. But so I went in, and I was looking, I said, there's a record I really want. I went in and looked, and it was tons of money, you know, it was a lot, usually $50 to $100. Sometimes you can see it for $40 and very good. And I finally found one for $60, and it was autographed. I was like, oh, okay, I'll pay $60. I want that record really bad. It's autographed. So I kept waiting, and it said it had been delivered, and I kept looking out, and there was no records out there. And then I go to check the mail, and it was a CD. And don't get me wrong, it's still cool to have it, but I was wanting the vinyl, and I didn't look close enough, and it was this here. Tora Tora Surprise Attack, one of my favorite records ever. And I was so disappointed that it wasn't the vinyl, because I still have it on cassette. And CDs are all right, but I'm more of a vinyl guy. And I don't really listen to CDs all that much. So luckily, a couple months later, or a month later about, Todd Guy, the Thrashing Zombie, was showing that as a new find. He said, you know, it's all right. It's not. I won't listen to it a whole bunch. So I answered him and said, hey, Todd, that's one of my grills. I just got this big metal collection. Is there anything you saw in there that you would want? And I'll trade you for it. And so he picked Sabotage Gutter Ballet, which was one I was really liking, but it's like, I don't care, I love it, so I got this from Todd Guy, and that was very cool of you, Todd. I've listened to this a lot. It's one of my favorite records. I love this album. I used to listen to this so much when it was first out, and I still love it, and it's just great. And, you know, it's a VG Plus at least. Sounds great. I was very happy to make that trade, even though I was really excited to get Gutter Ballet. I will get that again eventually, not a big deal. So that was one of them that's kind of a bad investment. My other one, which So this is one of my favorite records of all time, and for years it's $300 to $500 to get it. And so I was at on vacation actually for those when we went on vacation to Boise, Idaho. It's about 4 hours away from me, and they have good record stores there. That a lot bigger record stores there with different stuff. So the vacation I took, making the money from those other records, I went and I bought this record, and it was $50. And I knew that it was probably unofficial because they go for hundreds, and it was. And it was this, Alice in Chains Facelift. And this looks great. I mean, it's got the insert, and it looks great. It looks pretty official, actually. I mean, there's the label, Columbia. But what it is, it's a unofficial Brazilian pressing, and it's almost unlistenable. It just sounds awful, and there's parts on that one song on the second side where it kind of fades up and down, and it's like you think something's wrong with their stereo, but that's just the recording. And it's really low volume, so it's like I can't even play this thing, but it's cool to have it just because I love it so much. So I was very excited this year when this finally came out, and this sounds amazing, this repress. I couldn't be happier with it, and this was half the price of the really horrible sounding one. And so that's about it here. And congratulations again, JB. I know you're about 134 or 5 subs now. That's great. You'll keep climbing. You got a great channel. And everybody, have a great one. Rock on.